Welcome, everyone. My name is Tracy Murphy-Poxtis, and this is Good to Great in Under 8, the weekly show for motivated professionals who want to become more effective, create greater impact, and ultimately get more fulfillment and satisfaction out of their careers. So, guys, have you ever doubted your own achievements or feared that someone else didn't really believe that you earned them? Like maybe your boss or your colleagues were going to discover that, you're really not that smart or you're really not that qualified. Well, if you have, you're totally not alone, right? This is a prevalent enough issue that there's actually a name for it, and it's called Imposter Syndrome. And yes, it can, and it does happen to almost everyone at some point in their professional careers, even those that are well-educated, very accomplished, and very senior level. And the issue also doesn't discriminate by gender or generation. This issue also occurs with both men and women, as well as across all generations. So boomers, Xers, millennials, it happens across the board, guys. And imposter syndrome really is nothing more than a pattern of thoughts in our own mind that cause us to doubt our own competency and our own accomplishments. And then it's those thoughts that actually make us fear that we'll be exposed as some kind of fraud. Now, imposter syndrome doesn't always show up the same way for different people, right? Because we're all different, so this type of syndrome is going to show up differently for us. So for some people, imposter syndrome shows up as constantly worrying that they're not going to be able to live up to the expectations of their boss or to someone else on the team. For other people, imposter syndrome shows up as avoiding taking on additional responsibilities or passing on a promotion, and really just hunkering down to get the current job done, right? And then, for other people, it shows up as they're really having a hard time completing a project or a task, and they're constantly researching and reworking something, right? Because they want it to be perfect, because they're afraid someone else is going to judge them as, right, not good enough. And then lastly, the other way I've seen it show up is people that don't ask for help, right? They're not wanting to ask for help because they're fearing and thinking that other people will think they're incompetent. So however it shows up for you guys isn't super important. The point here really is twofold. Imposter syndrome is real, and it is experienced by almost 80% of the population at least one point in time in their careers and in their lives. And then it can manifest itself in a lot of ways, right? All those ways that I just talked about. However, no matter how it shows up for you, if you don't deal with it, it's going to prevent you from being effective. It's going to prevent you from having the impact that you want and from really feeling fulfilled, right, in your career. So it's time to deal with it. But how do we do that, right? What are some things we can do to sort of overcome imposter syndrome? And there's a few, right? The first one, basic, right? I know this is going to sound crazy. Talk about it. And not just with anybody. Find a trusted colleague, a mentor, or a coach, right? These are the people that are going to typically want to help and support you. So you want to talk to those types of people. And they're also going to likely have a much more objective view of you and of reality. Guys, you can also try accepting some new thoughts, some new ways of thinking. And that would include something like, nobody's right all the time. What if you believe that was really true? What if you believed that nobody can possibly know everything? Or what if you believe that mistakes are inevitable and they happen in life and that they're here to help us grow? If we start taking those beliefs as truth, It's going to enable us to really worry less about meeting other people's expectations or fear of failure, because we're saying that it's okay to make a mistake and it's okay to not be right. And then, guys, the third thing that you can start doing to work through imposter syndrome is start recognizing when your own negative self-talk starts coming up. So really start cluing in and paying more attention to when you hear yourself telling yourself things like, ugh, I know I'm not going to be able to deliver that project on time, or I'm not the best person to lead this project, or my communication skills aren't strong enough to get this done. Every time you catch yourself saying something like that to yourself, always follow that up with one simple question. How true is that really? This will start getting you to challenge yourself and question your own ways of thinking. And guys, to this point, you can also create a list of accomplishments and skills and successes that you've had, and then you can reference that when that negative self-talk comes up, right? As almost your own proof that you have done those things in the past and that you're not a fraud and that you are good enough. So guys, like I said, many of us, 80% of us will experience imposter syndrome at some point in time in our life. And guess what? It's okay. It's an actual normal part of life. It's a normal part of being human. And it's also a normal part of helping us grow. So know that, embrace that. And then know that, like I said, you don't have to go through it alone. Find that trusted friend, colleague, or coach and reach out to me. I'm here to help you guys with all these types of things. Just shoot me an email at tracy@tracymurphycoaching.com and we will get a conversation started. So that's it for this week, guys. I will see you next time.